Many people spend their entire lives working hard, yet never truly moving forward. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunities, but because of something much quieter and far more dangerous. They think small, they aim small, they expect small, and over time their lives begin to reflect the size of their thinking. But sometimes, one simple realization can change everything. This is the story of a young man who discovered that the biggest prison in life is not made of walls. It is made of beliefs. Ethan had always been known as a responsible person. He followed rules, he avoided risks, and he always chose the safest path in life. After graduating from college, Ethan found a stable job at a small company in the city. The job was not exciting, but it was comfortable. Every day looked the same. He woke up early. He took the train to work. He completed the same tasks. Then he returned home, tired and distracted. Months slowly turned into years, and although Ethan worked hard, nothing about his life seemed to change. He watched as others advanced in their careers. Some started businesses, some pursued ambitious dreams. But Ethan remained exactly where he was. Whenever people asked him why he never tried something bigger, he always gave the same answer. "I'm just being realistic." Deep inside, Ethan carried a belief he had never questioned. He believed that extraordinary success belonged to extraordinary people. People who were smarter, more talented, more confident, people who were different from him. So instead of chasing big goals, Ethan focused on small ones. Instead of aiming high, he aimed safe. Instead of risking failure, he avoided it completely. And without realizing it, Ethan had slowly built invisible limits around his own potential. Limits made entirely of thought. One evening after work, Ethan stopped by a quiet bookstore near his apartment. He often visited this place to relax after long days. As he walked through the shelves, one book caught his attention. Its title was simple: Think Bigger. Curious, Ethan opened the book and began reading a passage inside. The words immediately caught his attention. It said, "Most people do not fail because they aim too high and miss. They fail because they aim too low and succeed." Ethan paused. He read the sentence again. For the first time, he felt uncomfortable, because the words felt strangely personal. As Ethan continued reading, he found a question written on the next page. It said, "If you were not afraid of failure, what would you attempt?" Ethan stared at the question. He had never asked himself something like that before. For years, every decision he made had been influenced by safety. He chose jobs that felt secure. He avoided opportunities that felt uncertain. But now, sitting in the quiet corner of the bookstore, Ethan allowed himself to imagine something new. What if fear had never been in control? What if he had allowed himself to think bigger? Suddenly, ideas began filling his mind. He thought about projects he once wanted to start. He remembered creative ambitions he had abandoned years earlier. He realized that the life he had settled into was not the life he truly wanted. It was simply the life that felt safest. That night, Ethan returned home, unable to stop thinking. He realized something important. His biggest problem had never been lack of opportunity. It had been lack of imagination. For years, he had been living inside a mental box. A box built by doubt. A box reinforced by comfort. A box that quietly told him, "Stay where you are." But once Ethan saw the box, he could no longer ignore it. The next morning, Ethan made a small but powerful decision. He would begin questioning every limitation he had accepted about himself. Every time he caught himself thinking, "I probably can't do that," he would stop and ask, Why not? Slowly, this new habit began changing the way he saw things. Challenges that once felt impossible now looked like opportunities to learn. Risks that once seemed terrifying now looked like doors waiting to be opened. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something he had almost forgotten: excitement. Thinking big did not transform Ethan's life overnight. It was not a magical moment. Instead, it was a gradual shift. A shift in perspective, a shift in courage, and most importantly, a shift in belief. Ethan began setting bigger goals. He started learning new skills after work. He connected with people who inspired him. He began exploring ideas that once felt far beyond his reach. At first, progress was slow. There were moments of doubt, moments when fear tried to pull him back into his old mindset. But every time that happened, Ethan reminded himself of something powerful. Small thinking had kept him stuck for years. So even if big thinking felt uncomfortable, it was worth the risk. One day, while reflecting on his journey, Ethan realized something profound. The biggest barrier in life is rarely the world around us. It is the story we tell ourselves about what is possible. Some people grow up believing they are capable of greatness. Others grow up believing they should stay small. Both groups often prove themselves right, not because the world forces them to be that way, but because their thinking shapes their actions, and their actions shape their results. Over time, Ethan's confidence began growing. He stopped comparing himself to others. Instead, he focused on expanding his own potential. He began taking chances he once avoided. He began dreaming bigger than he ever had before. And slowly, something amazing happened. The life that once felt ordinary started becoming extraordinary, not because luck suddenly appeared, but because Ethan had finally allowed himself to think beyond the limits he once accepted. Thinking big is not about arrogance. It is not about believing you are better than others. It is about refusing to accept unnecessary limits. It is about understanding that your future should not be defined by the size of your fears. Most people live far below their potential, not because they lack ability, but because they underestimate what they are capable of becoming. The moment you begin to think bigger, you begin to see bigger possibilities. And sometimes, the only thing standing between an average life and an extraordinary one is the courage to believe that more is possible.